No TV pundits.
No crowded lineups that push the president out of prime time.
Just vibes. This is Vibes Only, the podcast that checks the vibes of American politics each and every week. And this week, we're bringing you those vibes from inside the United Center at the Democratic National Convention.
And the vibes this week:
exuberance, joy. There's a sense that it'll be a fight, but it'll be a joyous fight now. It won't be a slog.
We'll talk about the speeches and the vibes that we're seeing in and around the convention so far, and the current state of the race to replace Joseph R. Biden, before playing an It's Giving, pulling up our group chat, and leaving you with a good vibe goodbye. Let's get into it.
Hi, Glennis.
This is our first Vibes Only recording in person. We are here live at the United Center.
Yeah, happy convention.
Happy convention. How are you feeling?
I feel so energized, so excited. Every single day so far has been better than the one before.
I know.
So I'm thrilled. How are you feeling?
Good. It's really feeling like the Super Bowl meets the Olympics meets like mathletes or something. It's like we're going for it.
Nerd prom.
Yeah, the
definitely.
vibe is super, super high.
Yeah, what's been let's do some quick superlatives. What's been your favorite speech so far?
So far, I would say AOC.
Yeah.
You?
Fair.
Question mark?
I'm going to go with Hillary Clinton.
She looked, not to be like, she looked amazing. She looked amazing.
I thought it was one of the best speeches I've ever heard her give.
Period?
Yeah. And Jasmine Crockett, honorable mention.
Yeah, that was...
Okay, best burn, best Trump takedown.
I really liked when Sean Fain called him a scab.
Oh, that was, yeah. And United Center was here for it.
Here for it. I'm also shocked I still have my voice because the amount of like applause, like Alexa, play Lady Gaga applause, because it is out of control.
Yeah, it is.
In a good way, though.
And that honestly is part of the reason that Monday night's program ran so long, was because there was minutes after minutes of thunderous ovation, like regularly. It wasn't forced in any way. I mean, we were both here and it felt super organic. People are just over the moon and fired up about Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Joe Biden had to like shut us up. He was like, everyone stop.
Yeah. So did Hillary.
I know.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty
great.
crazy.
So let's talk about why we're here. We are here as credentialed content creators, which is the first time in the history of the DNC that creators are being treated like press, which is thrilling.
And fact check me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the RNC even did the same
level
of creator credentialing.
I don't know. I don't care to know, but I did see Charlie Kirk in the hallway here.
Did you?
Yes, which just,
he's not going to be a very good undercover operative for them.
No, not at all.
Everyone's like dartboards with his face on them at home.
But, at the DNC and as with the RNC, like they have to invite all press. So Charlie Kirk is press.
Yeah, I think it's a huge leap forward for the party and for content creators, both.
For sure.
To have such a substantial presence at the convention where there are multiple suites dedicated to creators to enable them to make more content, the same way that there are suites dedicated to ABC and CBS.
I'm looking at them right now. I see ABC, PBS, Fox News, CNN, and then Studio 24, which is the content creation suite here at the DNC.
And then there's also the floor access where there's this like little, what are we calling it?
The platform.
It's like the blue platform. Creator platform.
Yeah.
Where you have just like clear line of sight to the speakers and you're like right amongst all the delegates. It's probably the rowdiest part of the entire...
Did you go?
I still haven't been down there.
Yeah, you gotta go. Go today. It's like really cool. And like the delegates are a vibe.
For sure.
Like super hyped on democracy, on their state, on being here. I'm like, give me some of that juice.
Right. If you haven't watched live yet, the coverage of the convention, the whole bottom of the arena is like all of the delegates representing all 50 states. And those are the people like sent to represent their voters and like the nominating process.
Right.
And so those are the people who will officially cast their vote, although ceremonially, for Kamala Harris on Thursday.
Yeah. because I was watching clips last night when I got back, and I wish that we had here, which we don't have because it's not like a basketball game, but on prime time they do the cutaways, so you get to see where everyone is and people's reactions, whereas like here we didn't realize for certain speeches that like Kamala actually stayed in the United Center and that we were able to like cut to, but that is something that I love seeing post-mortem.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I also like noticed just in watching the coverage here on the screens that are around the arena and just walking around as well, it is such a diverse group of people of all ages, all races, religions, like every identity under the sun is here and represented in significant numbers because this party represents America.
Totally.
In such a real way.
Yeah.
Which is maybe lacking in other major parties.
Yeah. Actually, during the day, so what happens? So the United Center is starting at 5:30. It's like gavel in, and then there's a series of speeches, as you mentioned. Some of them went overtime. So on Monday night, it was quite late for all of us, but it was worth it to see, Joe Biden. But during the day, there's a lot of caucus meetings, and to your point, there's the Women's Caucus, there's the Black Caucus, Youth Caucus, LGBTQ Caucus, Labor Caucus, Native American Caucus, AAPI Caucus, Hispanic, Interfaith, and Poverty Council Caucus. So that's just some. There's more.
Totally.
So we truly are, here at the DNC representing the full scope of America.
Yeah, and we have to talk a little bit about like the content of what has been focused on so far, the message of the convention, which I think has been incredibly forward-looking.
Yeah.
Monday night was centered, or at least culminated in this like "Thank you, Joe" moment, where the entire arena was lip chanting Joe Biden's name for
Joe.
like seemingly an hour and a half, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Which was incredible and just palpable to see the sort of hero's welcome that he received when he walked on stage. He was emotional about it.
It was a really nice moment.
It was
a historical moment, because that really was his last major, or one of his last major speeches.
Definitely the most visible, for sure. Yeah. We will get more addresses from him. He's like, I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it for 5 more months.
He's like digging his heels in. He's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that outside of his remarks, the entire convention has been geared towards what does the future of the party and the country look like? What do we want it to look like? And what do we need to do in the next 75 days in order to make that vision a reality?
Days. Yikes. Reality check.
Are there particular issues that jumped out at you as being most salient thus far?
Well, for me, the repro moment on Monday night was so powerful. So for those who didn't see it in prime time, there were a family, a husband and wife, and then 2 individuals who were impacted by restrictive reproductive laws, Texas and Kentucky, and I forget Louisiana. Thank you. And it was, you could hear a pin drop in the United Center. It was so moving to humanize policy in that way, to have people speak to their actual stories. It was, for me, that was like, I like stood still.
Yeah. I'm sure people have seen it online by now. The woman from Kentucky, Hadley, really just digging deep and showed such courage in telling her story, and then was commended and lifted up by her governor, Andy Beshear, right after, which was incredibly powerful. But just a horrifying and very concrete picture of like what these laws really mean for people across the country, and for the millions of people who really do get stuck in this like pro-life, pro-choice, like rhetorical argument where they're just throwing talking points back and forth. You completely lose the humanity of the issue. And I thought that bringing that forward was so important and done really well. Although I did hear, I didn't watch it on TV obviously, but I did hear that multiple of the stations had cut away and didn't show that segment. I heard CBS did, I heard ABC did. Which would be really disappointing, but I'm
sure you can find it online.
Another reason that having content creators here is so important, because you can capture those moments and you can push them to the point of visibility that even an ABC might not be able to, if you're able to like frame the issue appropriately and connect it with voters in a way that is going to resonate.
Absolutely. They also started laying the groundwork just in terms of like Kamala Harris's story.
Yeah.
They had an intro video. The way they're kind of doing interstitials, I think, is smart too. They're giving you a little bit of a tease of who's coming up next. So there's a little bit of anticipation and excitement in the audience. They had 2 of her childhood friends speak and her sister do some VO on a video. And none of us were expecting this, but Monday night she came out. And it was like to roaring applause yet again. Like,
how have we not talked about the surprise?
I know, the surprise on Monday.
Buried the lead.
I know.
That was wild.
Wild.
I've never jumped out of my chair so fast.
It was great.
Like, it can't be. Is that her?
For me, the vibe felt so good though, because it was so clearly like a passing of the torch of like, yes, like let's like put it like on stage that this is in fact Kamala's night and a convention, but to have her have that moment first and then have Joe Biden have that wonderful speech and then for them all to come out together.
I agree. I think it also, in an interesting way, almost decentered her, kind of, where it was just like, she didn't need all of the pomp and circumstance of this huge buildup over days and this grand entrance, which is still going to happen.
Right.
But she chose to just like walk out
like, hey.
and thank Joe Biden because that's what she wanted to do. And she wanted to have that moment, and she wasn't going to like hold back for her own sort of like grand celebrity type of moment, which I thought was just very down to earth and cool of her to do, frankly.
The United Center feels very unified.
Yeah.
In this moment, which is super exciting.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. And introducing Kamala to America is a central goal of this convention. There are tens and tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions when you consider it online, that are going to view parts of the convention, and making sure that people have a sense of who Kamala is a really important part of winning in the next 3 months. And so I thought one particularly moving narrative moment that brought out more of who Kamala is was the story from Jasmine Crockett, who had a fire speech overall, just so good. Her Trump takedowns, of course, but then she also had this really real and authentic emotional moment where she talked about having just been elected to Congress, being in the halls of the Capitol and feeling like she didn't belong there. And like that maybe she had made a mistake. And that's, of course, when she ran into Vice President Harris. And immediately, although they had never met, Harris said, "What's wrong?"
As I approached Vice President Harris for our official photo, she turned to me and asked, "What's wrong?" Mind you, we'd never met, but she saw right through me. She saw the distress. I immediately began crying. And the most powerful woman in the world wiped my tears and listened.
There's so many freshmen members of Congress that like it would be very easy for someone as senior as Harris to just like keep on pumping. She has stuff to do and things on her mind, but she engaged and she asked, and Jasmine Crockett talked about breaking down in that moment, and it was emotional for her to recall it, but that Harris was there to sort of like offer this type of support.
This reminds me, you talking about this and hearing all the stories that we heard about VP Harris last night. For the last few months, or months ago, we were talking about Joe Biden as the candidate, and we were begging his team to give us more character stories, to talk more about who Joe Biden is as a person, how he is in closed-door rooms. And we're getting that right away for the VP. And I think that is so, so invaluable to know who the person is. Because, they don't have that much time to build that narrative. 75 days.
Some really interesting data came out recently showing the efficacy of different ads in the presidential for and against Kamala and Donald. And what it showed was that right now messaging about VP Harris is much more persuasive to the audience because they don't know her as well. People's opinions of Donald Trump and even Biden are baked. They're fully baked. You kind of...
I know mine is.
You feel how you feel. And it's really hard to move you off of that with a 30-second ad or something. But as people are still getting to know Harris, it's actually much more fluid. And so that's a sort of signal to us and to our audience that right now is the most important time to be talking about Harris and Walz and why you support them and why she's going to be a great president, because people are more impressionable right now than they have been in years or will be even a month from now as they start to crystallize those opinions. So being loud about it is like especially important in this moment.
And just to bring it back to your point, it's so important that content creators are here who have tens of millions of followers who can reach so far beyond traditional legacy media.
Period.
So I want to talk a bit about Biden's speech and some of the highlights, at least for me. Again, it was long, and he definitely laid down his resume of what he has done, which is important. I think he should. But, he said the line that really moved, well, when he quoted a song, I was like,
let me know in my heart when my days are through, America, America, I gave my best to you.
So good.
So good.
Oh, wow. United Center was very here for that. It was so powerful because it was like simultaneously his humor and his like sort of deep intellectual commitment to American ideals.
Yes.
And this like infusion of like history and patriotism in a way that makes the patriotism of the right look cheap and plastic.
Perverted.
Whereas like Biden's patriotism is so rich and truly connected to the soul of the nation.
Totally.
And he talks about that. And I just thought it was so compelling.
Same. He truly does bleed red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
He reiterated the line that he said from his Oval Office speech, which I love my job, but I love my country more. That, of course, got another 2-minute applause.
Yeah.
Something that was super, super important that he said was that choosing Kamala Harris was the best choice of his career.
Yeah.
Selecting Kamala was the very first decision I made, and it was the best decision I made my whole career. And she will be an historic president who puts her stamp on America's future.
And I think, that's both in the framework of her as his VP and then also him endorsing her, minutes after stepping aside, which I still think is one of the most boss moves of all time.
100%.
I also did love that he did say, I think 1 or 2 times, by the by, I still have 5 months left.
Yeah,
You're not done. I'm not done.
Absolutely.
We're not done.
Right.
And part of me hopes he just fully goes for it in those 5 months. But it was, on Monday night when I left the arena, I was like, okay, wow. That was...
Right. I gave my best to you. It was so strong. I mean, the debt that we owe this man for putting the country first in this moment when it would have been easy not to, when it would have been maybe gratifying personally to continue onward is immense. And I'm so grateful for him. That was an authentic moment that we all got to sort of share in communicating that to him, and I know he felt it.
Yeah, I know that the 5-minute thank you, Joe, standing ovation is not enough, but I hope that he has made a permanent memory in his brain of that moment.
Yeah. Can you still have core memories at the age of 81?
That's why I didn't use core memories, because I just said permanent.
You can swap them out, right? I forget how Inside Out works.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the polls. We are feeling, we've been saying to each other, and a lot of us here have been saying, the vibe is so high, but the margins are still so tight.
Yeah.
So what's the polls looking like?
I think that the polling's consistent with just data across the ecosystem. There are lots of different kinds of data. The battleground polling, a national poll, enthusiasm metrics about how excited people are to vote. And all of that has been trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Most notably, and what has made the most news, is that most of the sort of highest profile polls now have Harris leading by very narrow margins in the battleground states.
Yeah.
It's a big deal because it is sort of validating this surge of enthusiasm that we're all feeling, that it's not just about the base and the fandom, it's about the path forward for the entire country. And the most important thing that's happened in the last 45 days is that we went from having one narrow, scary path to 270 electoral votes, which was the blue wall, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, to now having multiple different avenues to how Kamala Harris could become our next president. It could be the blue wall. It could be some of the Sun Belt states. Georgia's in play. Arizona, certainly. Nevada, absolutely. North Carolina, which even early in the cycle was sort of written off as too much of a long shot for a presidential. It hasn't been won by a Democrat at the top of the ticket since Obama. And now suddenly all indications point to a very close but winnable race in all of these places.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that the VP is still saying we are the underdog here.
Yeah.
She is tempering the energy, which I think is super important, so people don't get ahead of themselves with the vibe and thinking, I don't have to relational organize, I don't need to make the phone calls, I don't need to do what I need to do to make sure she gets elected. But we must do everything that we can in our individual and collective power to make sure that she is elected.
And every speaker thus far has emphasized that.
Totally.
It never stops at like, Kamala's going to be a great president.
Right.
We're going to do so much. It's like, and the next 75 days,
they're putting us to work.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, even Biden is saying that he's going to be the volunteer in chief. He's going to be the best volunteer that the campaign has, which is really an indication that this is an all hands on deck effort.
I was thinking about that the other morning in the hotel before coming in, of like how amazing to have the sitting president be able to go on the road for you or to rally for you. That is, and not have to be worrying about re-election. I want to talk a little bit about policy, because leading up to the convention, Kamala Harris teased and then dropped like her economic policy. Mm-hmm. So we're getting more news, more info on what would actually be the reality if all circumstances were perfect for her policies to be passed, if we had and when we have a Kamala Harris presidency.
Yep.
So she's going to address food prices and inflation. She's promising to, in her first 100 days in office, to put federal limits on price gouging food.
Right.
I mean, my milk is expensive.
For sure.
My eggs at my supermarket, $12. They're organic, but still.
Sorry for our audio only listeners. My face literally just
$12.
What?
For the free range organic eggs.
Girl, you got to go somewhere else.
I'm gonna go to the farmer's market.
Are you shopping at Erewhon?
No, I'm shopping. I don't.
Are you having Erewhon eggs
I don't
shipped
out
from LA to New York?
No, I think they're literally price gouging. Like my supermarket is like the example of price gouging.
Well, I think that it has been emphasized throughout and has been a common theme that. And it's just like known that if there is a weakness for the Democrats in 2024, it's around the economy.
Yeah.
And it's specifically because people do not know or understand where Democrats stand on some of the issues. And that's what they're trying to, I think, break through on, is that like there is a plan in place that's very aggressive to help the middle class.
Yeah.
I have not heard such an emphasis on the middle class in recent sort of months or years or from the RNC, but there's a very palpable focus here on labor and on policies that are going to help the middle class.
Yeah. Some more. She's calling for the construction of 3 million new housing units, which would ease the very serious, very real housing crisis in this country. Also, this one is exciting. $25,000 in down payment assistance to help turn renters into first-time home buyers. $25,000, that is a huge chunk in a down payment for many, many Americans.
Oh, absolutely.
She wants to expand the child tax credit, so restore the child tax credit to the pandemic era American Rescue Plan levels.
Which cut child poverty in half.
Thank you.
And until Republicans blocked it from being extended, I think along with Joe Manchin.
And that guy.
And that one guy.
Yeah.
We had made the fastest progress in eliminating child poverty in this country that we have ever.
Here's one that I really liked that she announced was the $6,000 tax credit for newborns. And you think, Republicans, you made this a point on your Instagram, which I think cuts right to the point, are pro-birth. They're not pro-life, because Republicans want to cut child tax credits. They have never once offered a tax credit for newborns. So what are you actually doing to help American families bring children into this world? Right.
They do not want to make it easier to form the kind of family that you want, obviously, like via things like IVF or via social programs that can actually facilitate the kind of family formation that they espouse to support, right? That they pretend to support. Instead, they just want to take away birth control and just hope that it brings America's birth rate up. They're obsessed with the birth rate.
So weird.
And it's all very weird.
Yeah.
And it shows the sort of empty promise of their solutions. That again, it's not about helping the people who are struggling through the challenges. It's about sort of putting forth ideological boogeymen that they can run against.
Climate change.
Exactly.
Remember 2 episodes ago, or last episode, the unhinged woman talking about air quotes climate change and how it's about birth and
population control.
No babe, the planet's just literally on fire. Okay, this one is a little wonky. I don't think it's actually good policy. But Trump, this was like 6 weeks ago, Trump was like doing one of his rallies and was like, and by the by, this was in Nevada, where obviously there's a ton of hospitality workers. He's like, I'm going to cut tax on tips. You're not going to get tax on your tips anymore.
Right.
And, you know, I'll hand it to Kamala Harris. She said, same.
100%. She
like,
literally
me
said
too.
ditto. Yep. I mean, that is for those who are looking for Dems to play hardball politics. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, if you're going to make shit up in order to try to like dupe these workers into voting for you, then like
we'll
I'll support the same policy.
Yeah. I'm like, let's just tax millionaires and billionaires fairly.
Which is like also a key component of the plan, right? And they talked about that as well. I think that the policy rollout has been strong.
Yeah.
And the messaging throughout the convention has been really consistent.
Yeah.
It's super union focused. We've seen a lot of representation from labor. It's been very focused on reproductive rights, on protecting democracy from Donald Trump.
Economy.
And on the economy.
Chips. Like
Absolutely.
Joe Biden last night talking about the chips, bring the chips back.
The chips.
The chips.
Well, and we ain't talking no Lay's.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I only started learning about chips recently. I don't know why. I was like in a chip hole, and I realized that we actually invented chips in America, and then we shipped all of the manufacturing abroad, which is like, what?
Doesn't make any sense.
But we're bringing it back. Joe
Absolutely.
Biden is bringing the chips back.
Yeah. Everyone
has a chip. Like, it's in your phone, it's in your computer, it's in this microphone.
It is weird how Donald Trump loves to talk about like import-export deficits, and then Joe Biden's the one who like fixing them.
Actually does it.
But like no one talks about it when Biden does it. You've heard me talk before about...
I sure have.
Probably more than you want. But repeatedly, I have said that there are two types of people left in America. The people who love Donald Trump and everybody else.
Yeah.
And so in order to unify the everybody else, I do think that Harris needs to address like media concerns or whoever's sort of concerned about that, even voter concerns about like what the specific platform is. And we just need to give people a vision and a direction that she's going to move in with Congress, not a 72-point policy plan that is like make or break for voters, because we know that that's not what people vote based on.
Well, I think just in terms of timeline, like we know that the DNC is literally the week of vibes. That's the whole point. It is our like rallying cry and like upward swing of momentum and energy. So I think as we look to next week and the following, we're going to be getting more and more from Harris on what her administration would look like.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. So if this week she can introduce herself to more of the country and talk about her American story and what brought her to the White House now and what her vision for the country looks like, what will sort of paint that picture for the American people, those are going to be the things I think that grow the coalition of people behind her and energize the base to go knock on millions of doors and make millions of phone calls and connect with the people who need it most.
Sign me up. Giving. It's giving.
It's giving.
It's giving.
It's giving.
It's giving. Okay.
It's giving convention.
I know. It's giving convention. It's giving
balloon drop.
We're so high up we can see the balloon drop. It's giving. I will say they put all the creators in the penthouse level, which sounds very shishi, and it actually is quite nice. It's very nice to have a space. Like, look, we're here. We're able to record. Like, that's amazing.
For sure.
But if you get vertigo.
Yeah, true. I mean, well, what has been ideal for me is that we have this space and then
we
the
have a ton of spaces
down there.
Yeah,
that
they've
you
really.
Can go
we're essentially being treated as press, which is to our point that we're. I know.
Call me the New York Times.
Yeah. Call me Us Weekly. So there was a moment. You know, I'm like an Olympic head. I'm like,
yes.
And we won gold, USA men's basketball, and Stephen Kerr, who is the basketball coach.
Right.
He early days was like, I support Kamala Harris. Shut up. And
Period.
he said stuff about Trump before, and he just seems like a good guy. For me, this was a gag on Monday night when you see this like Bulls like interstitial, and I'm like, it's not going to be Michael Jordan, is it? And it wasn't, but it was Stephen Kerr.
Next best thing. He just won an Olympic gold.
Literally, everyone was like, USA.
Yeah.
USA. Me too. I was like, that gold, baby. I was like so stoked. But he gave a little speech, and it was cute.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look.
They have devoted their lives to serving other people. Whether Vice President Harris was defending her community in the courtroom, or Governor Walz was inspiring the next generation in the classroom, or on the field, for that matter. By the way, coach to coach, that guy's awesome. Although, I have to say, Coach Walz, way too much reliance on the blitz in '99 against Mankato East. You had a strong defensive line. I would have played more press coverage with your corners and then dropped the safeties into a Tampa 2. That's just me. After the results are tallied that night, we can, in the words of the great Steph Curry, we can tell Donald Trump, night, night.
I love it. I love it. Bring the athleticism to the DNC.
Yeah.
Bring Steph Curry to the DNC. Like, bring Steph Curry shit talking to the DNC. Dad jokes.
Yeah, it's giving Mighty Ducks for
Yes.
me. And like, everyone loves an underdog story, like you said.
Or Miracle on Ice, 1980.
Yeah, yes.
I will say, though, yeah, our men's basketball team was not the underdogs. We were the dream team.
No, but Kamala is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's bringing the vibes.
Yeah.
Glennis, this isn't a sports podcast. Don't expect me to know these things.
Not yet.
I think that it's important that we have a message for everyone and a message from the Democratic Party that speaks to everyone. And I think that he speaks to a different audience
1,000%.
than many of the other people taking the stage.
1,000%. As does Tim Walz. And I think they're tapping into that.
Totally. Get my camo hat.
Okay, group chat. What's happening in your group chat?
I mean, my group chat has been, where are you? Where are you? I'm at this.
Yeah.
Which event are you going to? Which after party are you going to?
Yeah.
Has been like a majority of my group chats.
Yeah.
Honestly, everyone is here.
Yeah, thankfully, my service is really bad. Once the arena's full, it's just like the texts are far and few between, which I kind of appreciate because it allows me to be present with the speeches.
I do not appreciate when I'm trying to post on Instagram.
Well,
and
that's,
it's like,
I know, as content creators...
I'm like, oh my God, help.
I posted the same story on Instagram like 5 times last night because it kept saying failed. And it was like a minute long story.
More.
And I was like, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you know what I did learn? And this was a joke that we had. I have like my emotional support water bottle, my Awala. And turns out that water bottles like Stanley's, Awalas are weapons. And you can't bring them.
I knew it.
Yeah, I should have not brought it. But so I texted you, or I FaceTimed you, and I said, diva down. And the same time that my Awala went down, who else went down?
George Santos. Into the clink.
2 years.
2 years. He pleaded guilty to like 20 plus felonies.
Yikes.
Including that he was using his donors' credit cards and stealing money.
That is still
so unhinged.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that you think that you'd get away with that.
Yeah.
It's literally bananas. And yet, he did it. And now, you do the time. Wait, you do the crime?
You do the time. We should like do that and put Donald Trump's face in the middle.
Absolutely.
But the last thing is that because, like I said earlier, we're not getting the cut twos. My friends at home are, so they're sending me cut twos. And last night, did you see Tim Walz's kids when they were zooming in on him? We're giving him bunny ears.
Yes.
Which is like, that is just a guy.
I know.
He will be the vice president of the United States of America.
Totally.
But that is just a guy.
Just a dude.
Whose kids are like literally on national TV giving him bunny ears.
Yeah. I kind of love
Iconic.
it. I kind of love it. The other part of my group chat was the chaos of the East Coast trying to get to Chicago for the convention. If
we
you
were
are
lucky.
not in New York.
We were #blessed. We were
Absolutely.
We were totally blissfully unaware that it was locked down because of historical flooding.
Yeah.
Climate change is real.
I mean, they grounded all flights out of LaGuardia and JFK and Newark for a period of time, and then canceled and delayed the rest. So we had multiple friends who drove like 10, 12 hours to get to the convention, but that is how much they love Kamala Harris.
And democracy.
Absolutely.
Okay, good vibe, goodbye.
We have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her.
Look, Kamala knows, like we do, that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love, how you worship, or what's in your bank account, we all deserve the opportunity to build a decent life.
The delegates at the Democratic National convention. Well, they just completed their roll call. And they have nominated Coach Walls and me to be the next Vice President and President of the United States of America.
The good vibe is just going to keep rolling. Here's the DNC in Chicago, 2024, baby. Let's go. Thanks for listening. If you're new to the show, first, glad you made it. Second, make sure you follow, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any new episodes. We release every week on Wednesday mornings. We've got a bold vision for America's future laid out. Now it's time that we make sure it's realized. Everyone has a role to play, and chances are you know what you can bring to the table. But if you need ideas, reach out to us via text at the link at the top of the description in this episode, or you can record a voice memo for us on your phone and send it to us at vibes@couriernewsroom.com. You know I love getting and sending voice memos.
Vibes Only is a production of Courier, a civic media company that protects and strengthens our democracy through credible, fact-based journalism and seeks to create a more informed, engaged, and representative America. Vibes Only is produced by Devin Maroney, with support from Courier's Kyle Tharp, RC DeMezzo, and Daniel Strasburger. Tara McGowan is founder and publisher of Courier.